Hey everyone, it's Jonna, and I think last month was when I posted on my Instagram story that I would do an emetophobia update slash Q&A, and then the holidays happened and I never got to it. But I'm here now and I'm excited to answer your questions and just talk a little bit about what's been happening. I do have an experience to share. It was an experience. Basically, I had to have my first ever surgery, and it's not really it's not a big surgery. It was super minor. It wasn't a big deal. Yeah, but it was to me. I'm not gonna invalidate my feelings. It was to me. It was for my toenail, and I was awake for it. And it was all kind of fine and dandy until they did the Novocaine. And that's when I had a panic attack, and I have not had a panic attack in a very long time until that moment. And it was really, 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 really scary. Super scary. And rookie mistake, I didn't have gum with me. And that's what I always reach for. We all know this. And it was just super scary. I thought I was going to pass out. And then I felt nauseous and I got really scared. It was so scary. I was fine. And they were able to continue. But for a minute there, it was really scary, and I just wanted to share that I did have a really scary, panicked moment, and my emetophobia was in play. But luckily I got through it, the surgery went well, everything's fine now. But I just wanted to share that. I don't know, maybe it's helpful. Questions! Okay, so how do you deal with feeling nauseous? I'm an emetophobe too, and I'm looking for any tips to help. So I used to feel it a lot, pretty much daily, back when my emetophobia was really, really bad. And it was horrible and so scary. Every time it was scary. Nowadays, I don't really get that feeling very often at all, which I think is why it was so scary when I was at the doctor, and after the Novocaine, I started feeling nauseous and really scared, because I just hadn't felt that in a long time, and I also hadn't had a full-on proper panic attack in a long time. It was so scary. My biggest thing, if I feel nauseous, is mint gum. I heavily rely on that. And also just going through a checklist in my mind, because your body's last resort is what we're afraid of. And so it's am I hungry? Am I stressed? Am I anxious? Am I nervous about something? What are all the possibilities it could be before what I'm scared of? Another big thing for me is just distraction, just getting my mind off it, because the more you focus on it, the more you're gonna feel it, and it's just this vicious cycle. So just getting my mind off it, getting out of my mind. Do you use any natural supplements for emetophobia? I don't, but I'd be interested to hear if anybody else does. I know some people are really into essential oils and things like that. I've never tried it, so I don't know. Are you ever going to update the submission / your website? Yes, I do update it. It's hard for me to keep up with, because it's just me. And the submissions and stuff, everything I have to do just myself. And I have a full-time job and other things to do. And so it's hard, but I do keep up with it as best as I can. Is it normal to be grossed out by other stomach-related stuff when you have emetophobia? I would say yes. It's different for everybody, So, if it bothers you, that's totally valid. Something that bothers me is when people burp. Burping, that really, it triggers me. It bothers me so much. So, yeah, whatever you're feeling is valid. What are some things that you can't do because of it? Oh, that's an interesting question. I don't think I've ever been asked that before. I don't know if there's necessarily things I can't do, but there's things that I don't do because of it. It's not that I can't, it's that I choose not to. But all of these things also have other reasons for them, it's not just my emetophobia. But I did become vegetarian because of my emetophobia. It started when I was in the depths of my phobia, and I was so scared of food poisoning, and just I just stopped eating meat completely. But now it's also because for the environment, and because I care about the animals. I can't imagine, no shame to you, seriously, no shame, eat what you want to eat. But I feel bad thinking about the animals, if there was a chicken in front of me, that used to be a chicken with a family and a life. So I don't know, it just makes me feel a little bad. Another thing, I don't drink at all, ever, never have, never will, not a single sip. That's a moral thing for me, and also an emetophobic thing. I also just can't be around people that do. It makes me super nervous. Yeah, no. I'm really worried about getting vaccinated because of emetophobia. Any tips? Do it. I was completely fine. I am now boosted. I was fine all 3 times. First jab, second jab, third jab. Totally fine. I have a whole video about my first 2 vaccinations for COVID and how I was fine. I'm just here to add on that my booster was also totally fine. Actually, more fine than the first 2. The first 2 were fine, this was even finer. So worth it for me. My COVID anxiety heavily outweighs my emetophobia at this point in my life. And so having that vaccine and that protection just helps me so much, because if I didn't have that, I think I would be honestly just like laying in bed constantly paralyzed in fear. And everyone I know that is vaccinated and boosted didn't have any issues that would trigger emetophobia either. I'm very scared to leave the house. Any tips? I'm really struggling and feeling really sad. I am so sorry to hear that, and I'm sending you love. Honestly, same right now. Like, with COVID being what it is and the surge that we're having right now, yeah. And if anybody has tips out there, I would appreciate tips as well, because I'm honestly in the same position. As I've said in a lot of recent emetophobia updates and things, my COVID anxiety is just very much at the forefront. I am just so constantly consumed by COVID anxiety and worries about getting COVID that, like, my emetophobia can't even speak to me. Like, I'm like, please, I can't deal with that. It's like a constant fight or flight against COVID. But sometimes they are tied, and that's when it gets really stressful and really overwhelming, and I just need to, like, totally distract myself, because otherwise it's just like a spiral of worries. So I would say that overall my emetophobia is doing well, but my anxious brain is not doing so well. I hope this was helpful for somebody out there. If you have more questions in the comments, let me know, and maybe I'll do a part 2, or just reply to some comments. I love you all. Stay beautiful, you people. Bye!